Ejections, hot weather, hot tempers. The Cubs must be in St. Louis and they're red hot themselves.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Please support the show by following on your preferred audio platform, and you can watch, subscribe, and leave a comment on YouTube. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Another great game for the Chicago Cubs, as we are the home of the hottest team in baseball right now as the Cubs win their sixth straight game. That is the longest streak in the sport right now. And another win over the Cardinals, this time 10-3 on Thursday night. Cubs improved to 51-51 on the season. First time at the 500 mark since May 12th. Cubs are 5.5 games back of first place in the NL Central and 4 games back of the third wild card spot. Sam, this all started when tempers flared in the top of the first inning, and it snowballed in the Cubs' favor from there.
Yeah, let's just get that out of the way early so we could, celebrate this baseball team right now. So here's my take on it. The Cardinal broadcast thought it was the most ridiculous ejection of all time. Boog and JD thought it was ridiculous what Michaelis did. I stand in the middle with this. Ian Happ clearly accidentally struck Contreras in the head with his backswing. Everybody watching, 100% of the audience, everybody knows that there was no intent there. However, accidents don't necessarily mean everything's okay. He did have to leave the game. Ironically, of course, Kisner came in and produced the only runs for the Cardinals. But at the time, the Cardinals were probably like, hey, we just lost our starting catcher against the lefty. We only have 2 catchers. It's a hot day. This is frustrating. So Michaelis comes up and in that first pitch on Happ. I think if that ball hits him, it's probably just warnings to both teams. But then because he came in a second time, it forced the umpire's hands, and they had to eject him. I think the second one was really the thing that kind of put it over the top. And I even think Cardinal players were probably rolling their eyes at the second one. I get the frustration. I get sticking up for your player, but you can't go at him twice in a row in this day and age. If it was Bob Gibson doing it in the 60s, by all means. But it's not the 60s anymore. The game has changed. And, that was my take on it. And then immediately Dakota Hudson comes in, man on first, 2 outs, gives up a hit to Bellinger, walks Suzuki, walks Swanson, Morel 2-run double off the wall, and the Cubs were playing the game from the front foot. So it really had a direct impact on the game, Mateo.
Yeah, it essentially sealed the fate of the game. You don't know it necessarily at the time, but for them to stake out a big advantage as they did right away, that proved to be detrimental and was a dumb decision by Michaelis. I'm not saying that he needs all the context on the planet, but Happ Contreras embraced right after.
Sure.
He's not in the moment. As Boog and JD noted, Contreras, not even close. I mean, he's way closer with Happ than any of his current teammates, albeit he's only been there, not even one season. But after the 3-run first, the Cubs scored 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the sixth, 2 in the seventh, 1 in the ninth. Right. They were active all night. And, I appreciate the rivalry.
Yes. It's okay.
The back and forth.
Yes.
I thought that was a really good start to the series. That looks and sounds like July baseball between the Cubs and Cardinals. We haven't had that for a while.
Yep.
So I appreciate that. I have to say I enjoyed that as a fan. And Marcus Stroman in the dugout was having a ball. Drew Smiley, Tucker Barnhart. I mean, they were in the shot
Right.
at least on the Cardinals broadcast of all things. But just a great response after that by the Cubs. And they're just simply on a roll right now.
Yeah, and just closing up shop, it's okay not to like the team you're playing.
Oh, it's more than okay.
It makes sports fun. This is professional sports. This isn't, they're not going out there for fun and a participation trophy.
No.
I like it. I like that Larry Bird and Magic Johnson weren't friends off the court like every NBA guy is now. I enjoy rivalries. I enjoy competing, and I hope tomorrow night is just as hostile with nobody getting injured. And Contreras handled that like a true pro too, by the way, to give him credit on that. But yeah, look, Matt, transitioning to the game, here's all I got to say, okay?
All right.
It's real now, folks. It's real. Okay, you're I think 4 out of the wild card now.
Yes.
And I believe 5.5 of the division, but Matthew, the Milwaukee Brewers go to Hotlanta this weekend. The
Correct.
Cincinnati Reds fly to the West Coast and play the Los Angeles Dodgers. Those are probably the 2 worst draws you could have in the National League. If the Cubs can take 2 out of 3 for the rest of this weekend, they're going to probably gain a game, maybe 2 on those teams. And then the Redlegs come to Wrigley for 4. So the division is still very much around. The wild card is very much alive. Every single guy on this team right now, for the most part, is hitting. The key is going to be sustainability, because in April, when they were 12-7, everybody was hitting, and then they all stopped at the same time. When they won 9 out of 11, everybody was hitting, and then they all stopped at the same time. Who's going to be the guy that may be laying in the weeds right now that's not Cody Bellinger, who's the hottest hitter on the planet? Who's going to be the guy that could get them going in August? Ian Happ starting to elevate the baseball a little bit more. Maybe he's quietly waiting to erupt. That would be great. So Suzuki rolled over about 624 times tonight. So
maybe it's him.
Yeah, I'm not saying no science.
Yeah. Well, besides that, he hits the ball hard.
Right. Well, Anyway, another game with another huge Christopher Morel hit.
Oh my gosh, he's cooking right now.
Jan Goal.
Oh, just a joy to watch every day.
And it's hot. I get it, but
drink some water.
Please keep him, in the lineup this weekend.
Yeah,
they're one of they're like 29 and 23 when he plays.
That's unreal. Wow. No, that's great to see. Talkman homered. Talkman, Bellinger, Morel all finished with 3 hits. Gomes had 2. And I really like the conversation about essentially the next breakout player. You're saying, Sam. I like that. I'm gonna let that marinate over the weekend, and maybe someone starts that over the weekend. And dare I say, maybe it's a Nick Madrigal or something like that. Who's gonna be returning this weekend. Hopefully.
And I'd like to make another quick take.
Yeah.
Why do we have to sit Talkman versus lefties? He homered off one tonight.
I think that should change Friday.
What's a better group? Talkman in center, Bellinger at first, or Bellinger in center and Mancini at first?
I don't think it's close.
Yeah, right. And just because he hangs in there fine against lefties, just leave him out there.
I think they need to start that on Friday. That's enough now with the matchups.
Yeah, well, they're not
and of course the manager looks better during winning times, which the Cubs have done a lot of. They're 25-15 since that Friday game, June 9th, against the Giants. But that is one thing with David Ross. He apparently is in love with matchups, the lefty-righty thing. But we don't know for sure if that's him or somebody else, a.k.a. the front office. And then Sam.
Yeah.
Justin.
Yeah, you just read my mind.
Steele.
That's why we do a show together,
6 innings.
Or like Larry David and Seinfeld, or Lennon and McCartney, or Carson and Sullivan, or whoever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Shaq and Kobe, or
Carson and McMahon, right?
Oh yeah, sorry, Carson and McMahon. Yeah. Sorry.
Shaq and Kobe, that's a lethal one.
Yeah, or Larry Bird and McHale or something.
A lot of duos there. All right.
I mentioned Larry Bird twice on this show.
Steele, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He's the first Cubs pitcher to go 4-0, undefeated in a single season against the Cardinals since Greg Maddux in 1992. I know we're both irked by his Red Sox start in terms of his.
He should be the Cy Young favorite.
Right. Cy Young favorite, these dudes, I've got to be careful not to swear.
Don't curse on this show. We have young people listening.
These dudes nationally, especially MLB Network, MLB.com, they released another top 10 starting pitchers list in the NL today.
You know how I feel.
Steele wasn't on it, dude.
Well, you know how I feel about those people that
about lists. Right?
Yeah, well, they kind of just like live in their mom's basement and just write on their computer. So, but
his ERA is 2.8. It should be like 2.4.
Well, if Steele. So what we're talking about is that the Red Sox game was a routine chopper to short. Horner missed the ball. The next hitter hit a grand slam. Inning would have been over. 5 earned runs that shouldn't have been earned runs. His ERA, I think, is like 2.87. It should be, as you said, right about 2.3, 2.4, something like that. But what I thought was really apparent this evening was just his bulldog mentality. The real feels 170 billion degrees. He's sweating through his jersey. He's laboring a little bit, and he finds a way to eat 6 innings for your team. And after last night's debacle, the unquestioned ace of this staff, and he's just been a joy to watch all season. And to beat a team 4 times in one season, let alone a team that has. You got to remember, the Cardinals are bad, but they're bad because they don't strike anybody out. They don't play defense, so they have a terrible bullpen. Their offense is good. Mm-hmm. To beat a team 4 times with those guys on it is very, very impressive and extremely hard to do, especially twice in 6 days.
Yeah, and it is a joy to watch, as you said. He is now taking over the reins as the number 1 pitcher in the rotation. And I have to say, I enjoyed watching Daniel Palencia with a clean inning in the 7th.
Yeah, low leverage.
Low leverage, but development at the major league level.
Yeah.
And I just can't get over right now. And trust me, I'm enjoying it. And I'm glad that you are.
If I wasn't, I would probably have to step off the show.
Right. But the timeliness of this,
it's unbelievable,
is incredible.
It is.
And it's going to be a fun weekend, I think. We'll preview it after the jump here, but it's just really good timing.
And the thing about it is, I was thinking about this today, a lot of people have texted me like, hey, is this a tease or is this real, type of thing. And let me tell you what's interesting about this. It's very hard to win when you absolutely have to win, right? That's why winning a World Series is so hard, because games are do or die, right? Like it backs against the wall, do or die. And the Cubs have been in that mode now for about 13 games. And the fact that they've won 9 of them and 6 in a row, it shows a lot about their resolve and does make you start to get fantasy thoughts. Like, hey, if they're this,
part of it being a fan.
If they're this good with their backs against the wall, right? Then maybe, are they made for something like this? I don't know. But it's exciting for sure.
Yeah, and I think with that conversation, I always start with Steele. And I work down from there. And the way that the offense is playing right now, and defensively backing up your pitcher, and even now the little things and some of the margins, Sam, like base running and being able to advance runners and things like that, it's just all clicking. So that's really nice to see.
Yep.
All right, 6 straight wins. There's 3 games left with the Cardinals. We're going to preview those and then go around the division a little bit again coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors, one of our great partners here on the show for a championship team. It's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. The next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to the eBay Motors My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, Confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Motors, guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. The Cubs play the Cardinals at 7:15 p.m. Central Friday, and you can listen to every pitch with the Cubs hometown broadcast on SiriusXM. On the SXM app, search Cubs, or tune in to channel 844 and catch the Cubs all season long on SiriusXM. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this series continues, 7:15, 6:15, and 1:15 respectively. Cubs are done with the Cardinals in 2023 after these matchups. And if somebody can throw news in the chat, if there was any, I didn't see any, Sam, but right now it still is TBD against Jordan Montgomery. That it's going to be Tyone, Wainwright, Hendricks, and Matz. Friday's starter will likely not be Drew Smiley. Might see Michael Fulmer as the opener again. The Iowa Cubs did put out their probables on Thursday, and Hayden Wisniewski was listed to start Friday for them. So perhaps some secrecy is happening here, some gamesmanship, and Wisniewski does take the ball. I would be a little bit surprised if they went Fulmer to Smiley against the same team back-to-back weekends, but I guess it's possible.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm on board with the creativity.
Right.
And, I think it makes sense. I want to say one thing, and Matt, I know you're going to roll your eyes at this, but I think it's important for me to say because it's happened at a lot of our comments. We know that we said that we were done with this team 5 different times. Try having a daily show every day. Sue us. We love this team. Our emotions are invested in it. When they win, we're thrilled. When they lose, I want to bury myself in my rug. That's a part of being a fan. So yes, I'm aware. If you'd like to clip it, send it to me. Even DM me on Twitter. I'll give you my address and you can send it to me as a video of me saying it if that makes you happy. Let's just make the postseason, okay? Let's make a run at this together. How's that?
As 670 The Score's first ever host, Tom Scher would say, call your congressman.
Yeah.
I can't help you there. Well, actually, I'm going to screenshot our episode from Friday, June 9th. The title was, do the Chicago Cubs have any fight in them? Guess what? Yes.
Yes,
they answered that question. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And the fact is they were 10 games under that day.
Right.
So it's been a great run. Come on.
And I can't remember a season.
Come on, player.
I can't remember a season. And again, the emotions obviously feel more than usual because we talk about it each day. But I can't remember a more roller coaster season.
And I look at it as an archive of the season.
It's
what this show. Imagine if this team does special things. It would be incredible to go back and even just watch the first segment of some of these shows.
No.
It's an archive of the season.
No.
It's actually really cool to think about.
No, some editor we know would have to make a clip of all the highs and lows.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
And then we could, maybe we could go watch it like a movie theater with some butter popcorn. But anyway, yeah, as far this is when's the last time? What's the date? The 27th.
Yeah.
So July the 28th, 29th, and 30th in St. Louis are going to be electric games. My weekend is completely booked. I'm not doing anything before these ball games. I'm going to be too tired to do anything after these ball games. Right. I'm just going to be centered around locking into these games. What's the game time? 7:15, 6:10, 1:10?
Yeah, well, they're at the quarter hours, each of the 3.
7:15, 6:15, 1:15.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I would like to watch with you Friday night, but I know you don't want to.
Well, I don't think
I know you've gotten weird about that.
No, I just don't think we mess with the vibe right now. I think the best solution for me is to watch this game at home alone in the dark like I've been doing for about 10 days.
Okay.
All
right. Well,
So
All right. Well, if that changes, please let me know.
no, I don't think I'm gonna leave the house.
The Cubs have a chance to get over the 500 mark Friday for the first time this season since May 6th, when they were 17 and 16. That would be pretty great. Again, a little bit up in the air with just the pitching, but I like the matchups regardless, especially going into the weekend. A couple veterans Saturday, and then Hendricks, Matt Sunday, a couple soft tossers. So
What is it,
we'll
Wainwright,
see what
Tyone Saturday?
Yeah, right.
So Montgomery, TBD, but really Smiley.
Right.
Wainwright, Tyone, and Wainwright's just had a whirl of a year, not in a good way. And then Matz, who all of a sudden has just found this resurgence these last few starts. He dominated the Cubs a couple weeks ago. He had a really good start, I think, in AZ his last time out. So he's gotten hot here. So that'll be interesting. I will say before we get out of here, let's touch on just real quick. The Cubs are not sellers right now. We know that. The return that the Sox got for Giolito and Lopez, so it's not just one guy.
Correct.
I still think Stroman is viewed up, as a better piece than Giolito. That was kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, I was cooking up some thoughts today. Jed would need something up his sleeve if they traded Stroman.
Yeah, like a guy
because
back.
Who makes those 12 starts if you're pushing into the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to trade him. I was just saying, I'm not insinuating that. I just think
no, I wanted to put it out there.
Yeah. My thing with Stroman is actually last night was the best case scenario. If you're listening on audio, Wednesday night was the best case scenario for Jed, because now the Cubs won and Stroman pitched poorly, in the sense that it makes all the sense now to keep him, because you're kind of in a pennant race, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And if he throws well the rest of the year, that may help you get to your goal. And if he continues this plummeting streak, you might get him back next year on his regular deal.
Yeah. And of course, I'm going to wait for the 3 games, and we'll do more definitive trade conversation for Monday's episode. But I think the decision's been made. Not only are they not sellers, I think they're going to get a couple new players.
Well, maybe they could trade for mid-season 1984 Rick Sutcliffe.
Yeah.
Just come in
the Red
12-1, something like that. Or, could they trade for the 03 version at third base of Aramis?
Well, yeah, the Jim Hendry made that trade. The Cubs were only a couple games over 500 in 2003, Lofton and Ramirez.
Yeah. Aramis. If you go look at Aramis,
the Cubs will be 53 and 52 if they win 2 out of their next 3.
If you go look at Aramis Ramirez's baseball reference page, what a dramatically underrated and underappreciated hitter.
Oh, yeah, that's a shame, because he might be the best third baseman of all time in the franchise.
No, really. I mean, it's that. I mean, Bryant will get it by default, Rookie of the Year MVP, and they won a title. But Matt, I don't know if you caught this. I did make my core tweet today about their combined
WAR.
WAR.
Made that public?
Yeah, and it got a lot of traction.
Well, I could imagine so.
Yeah, and guess what? We were going to do a show about that in August, but that was when we thought there wasn't going to be important baseball. We're not going to have time for that, because we're going to be covering a pennant race on this channel.
And there's 400 plus with this right now as we close things out. Please spam the like button right now on your way out. It was so good to be with everybody. Once again, if this is your first time here, we do a show Monday through Friday here at Locked On Cubs, and stay with us between now and the trade deadline and beyond. Cubs play the Cardinals this weekend to finish the series. They
play the Cardinals every day the rest of the year. It's all Cubs Cardinals. Last weekend, this weekend, August.
Well, no, 8 out of 11 games is exaggerated.
I am exhausted.
Or 8 out of 10. Yeah, 8 out of 10 games against the same team. That's so weird. Brewers play the Braves and the Reds play the Dodgers. Cubs begin a 4-game series with the Reds this Monday. We'll preview that for Monday as well. Shout out to the everydayers who are with us all 5 episodes throughout the week, and you can become an everydayer by checking us out each and every weekday. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube as we make the push to 5,000 subs. We're getting closer. And smash the like button for the algorithm, especially if you're with us live right now. Shout out to all the audio peeps. Got to keep the audio going strong as well. You're taking us with you to work, maybe getting a workout in, going for a run in the morning.
Not in this heat that apparently you like.
True. That's true.
No one's going outside running in this heat. I texted Matt today. I texted Matt today, guys, and said, man, I'm miserable in this weather. And his response back was, I kind of like it.
So when I got your text today, I pictured myself on a Saturday in April in the third base coach's box.
Yeah.
And I had 2 pairs of socks, gloves, a knit hat, a huge bleeping winter jacket, and it was sleeting and snowing for 2 hours.
Right.
So that's what I thought of.
Yeah, well, I thought
now, I don't know if I would want to be in the heat for 3 hours, I'm starting to warm up to the heat, pun intended.
No, and I was thinking of the fact that my head hurt, I had no appetite, and I was dehydrated.
Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Oh, what a combo this is. And streaming on SiriusXM. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is another winning edition of Locked On Cubs.